Hello, my name is Stephen Ryder. I'm the Managing Director of CPO in Grimbsy. We're here today to talk about support that we offer families who need our help. This is primarily done through a project called Grimbsy Full Families, which is funded by the National Lottery Community Fund and by our local authority, North East Lincolnshire Council. I'm here today with my Operations Manager, Maureen Favill, to talk about what that support looks like, how we support people, the kind of support we offer, and how long that support may last for. The Grimbsy Full Families project has been running for just over 3 years. We've just received extension funding, having worked in excess with 100 families over the first 3 years of the project. I thought generally it would be a good idea to start with the kind of support we offer across the board for the families who engage with us through this project. So I'm going to ask Mo just to talk a little bit about Grimbsy Full Families, how that looks and how it works.
Hi. It's all about giving these families better opportunities, for better chances for the family to get where they need to be. It enables the families to interact and spend quality time together, and looking at the aims to make sure that they deal with the issues that they have and working together to get where they can move and go into a direction of getting where the family should be.
I think it's important to stress that but we work with all the local schools, we work with our ASPCC, we work with health as well. We're dealing with children and adults who have mental health needs. So we work with organisations like CAMS, for example. I think it's important to stress that there is no boundary to who we'll work with. When we put a project together, we think about the kind of issues that may present, but as different issues present themselves, then we widen our net further. We don't pretend to have all of the answers, but if we don't have the answers ourselves, we will know somebody who will be able to help. So we both handhold and support families and individuals from those families to go to meetings. And we make sure that when a family comes away from a meeting with an agency or with a school or with anybody else who can support them, that they've been able to get the answers that they need if they don't feel confident enough to ask those questions themselves. Give us an example of a typical issue that a family may present with.
It could be that we've got school attendants say, the children aren't going to school on time, they're not getting up. Each family will have a plan put in where we'll discuss with the family what they want, what changes they want to make, what needs to be addressed to be able to function. Once that's all completed, we try to arrange to meet the family as a whole. We'd sort of like do a list of the little aims we can do to get them where they need to be. But sometimes what we try to do, once the trust has been built, is to get the children on activities. And so it could be as well that the children itself needs help from, like you said, Stephen, from different organisations. It could be that they need mental health support. So with that, I would then turn around and say, well, okay, let's get you counselling that you need.
Obviously, this video is going to sit on a website that pertains primarily to autism. Do we have examples of families where there are autistic members in families?
We do. I mean, some of the we've got one person's diagnosed, and we deal with that, supporting the mother. It's sometimes too much for her. Even though a child has got a different ability and it needs different help, it can still get to that crisis point in the evenings where they've just had enough, and they just want someone to listen. So that helps a lot. And then we try just to support in the best way. It's like I say, mainly it's that supportive role of having a listening ear and just getting them down from the crisis point into a point where they can breathe again.
What about practical examples of help? Where have we been specifically able to action something that's helped the family directly?
Well, again, it could be that the housing issue could be a housing issue where we've got a good example of this family, and the house was just not fit for purpose. The children had different abilities, and what we did I spoke to you, Steve, and you got in contact with the local MP because nothing was moving. So they got moved with the help of the local MP. And where they went, there was, you know, where they could get the child into their own bedroom, the child could go and wash themselves without having the parents to go into the bathroom with them, made him independent, and also took the pressure off the parents.
I think Mo referred to a word which I think is absolutely essential when dealing with any family relationship issues, and that's trust. We come from a totally non-judgmental place. It's about building up a relationship, and it's a two-way relationship. We trust the families trust us, and we work together. I think too often you're tempted to try and do things for people, to try and solve all their problems for them. Or if you don't have the respect that you should have for families and for individuals, you try and do things to people because you think that you know better. That's not the approach we take. We form a partnership with families. We have an agreement. It's a family action plan, but in all terms and purposes, it's almost a contract between ourselves and the family that says that we will do our best to support them where we feel it's needed and they feel it's needed, and that they'll do their best to engage with those things that they know that they need to do to improve their own situation. I think in the case in question, you know, the number of agencies that were working with that family when we first started actually made the situation more difficult. There were too many voices. It needed coordination. And I think that's where we see the Grimbsy for Family project working, that, you know, often we'll deal with the external noise. We'll deal with the issues that, you know, families perhaps are reluctant to deal with, or they feel that they're too complicated, or they feel that they are going to be judged by those people. The situation's so much better now than it would be otherwise. Mo, could you talk about a little bit more about the sort of additional support that we're able to offer for the young people on the project through our Children in Need activities?
Yes, that works very well. It also, what we do fun things, and we take the children on activities, try and take them outside the community and let them try things that maybe that their other children at school have, but they've not got the opportunity or financial ability to be able to attend. So in that case, what we do, we make them be brave, if you like. You know, we'll do activities like taking them to Go Ape and trying to take them to the next stage. And what happens, which is quite beautiful, it's beautiful to see actually, where when a child comes frightened to take a chance, where other children will encourage them.
Yeah.
And so every time that we do an activity, we always build in teamwork. And it's the teamwork and making friends with the peers that make them grow. But also as well, like in the case with the family with a lot of children with different abilities, it gives the parents a bit of respite as well. So, you know, it makes us like then say, look, you have an hour or 2 hours, and even maybe the day, and spend time recovering yourselves. They know the children are going to be looked after. They know the children are going to have fun. They're going to come home a lot more relaxed. And in that sense, you know, it gives the whole family support.
The approach that we take to working with families, you know, family issues don't occur 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. We're aware that for many families, you know, Mo's alluded to school attendance. We're not a 24/7 helpline, but we are around most of the time, and the delivery officers are very good at keeping our families informed of when they're available, and if they're not available, we have a buddy system so that not one person ever works with one family. There's always somebody else who's available, and that's really helped, as I said earlier, to develop that sort of feeling of consistency, of trust, knowing that there's somebody there who can answer a question, can go and support that person or that family to go to a meeting that they might otherwise have felt reluctant to attend. And I think it's that approach that's really sort of helped move us forward as an organisation. The reason that we put the Children in Need project in place was specifically because of the Grimbsy for Families project. You know, the two projects have run alongside each other for 3 years. Children can come from other areas. You don't have to be on our Grimbsy for Families project to come on to the Children in Need project. but most of those children come from the families that we're supporting. And the reason that we put that project in place was we were aware that there were issues after school. There were issues around having access to things like IT. So, one of the things that we do every week is we run a digital club, and that can be everything from making, online available safely to children, but it can also be giving them an opportunity to go on a PlayStation, to watch a film with friends, to do things where they have that break from, humdrum, difficult life situations, but to do it with their peers and to develop friendships. I think, in the case of children who often have additional needs, maybe autism, but other issues as well, is that they become very remote in the way in which they engage with their peers. And just by sort of building friendship groups, often young people from different schools coming together on a reasonably regular basis, it gives them something to look forward to. And as we say, one of the things that that Mo would probably have brought up slightly later on the video was the fact that sometimes it gives us the chance to help with parents. Often enables us to actually intervene before you get anywhere near a crisis or anything that even relates to that. So, as I say, we see this project as a really broad partnership. At the core is the family and our support workers, our development workers. But around that are all of the other people that exist. It might be the job centre, that might be the school, that might be health, it might be mental health. It may even be social services. But I think it's really important to stress that if we do our job properly and the families engage with us wholly, then we find that families don't escalate to other services. Often we find that we are in a position to de-escalate, but it can't happen individually. Families need support, individuals in those families need support, and we as an organisation need support. And I think that by being very open to working with as many people as we need, but yet trying to keep it as manageable as possible for those families on the project, in that way we often succeed. And I'm delighted that the success of the project has led to a 3-year extension. We will be doing Q&As on this video, so please, if you've watched this and you're interested in any of the work that we're doing, feel free to get in touch through the Q&A, or get in touch with us directly. As I say, we're very confident that the advice that we can give can be of help to the people who are watching this video and people who want to come and ask us further questions. But I would stress that if we don't know the answers, we almost certainly will know somebody who does. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to talking to many of you going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.